The tomato hit her chest before she could even knock. "Don't touch that gate, girl!" A white woman screamed from the balcony. Red juice dripped down Keisha's blouse as a gardener froze mid-step. She stood still, breath shaking, pride burning hotter than the sun behind her. If this already made your blood boil, hit like and subscribe right now, because stories like this are still happening, and the world needs to hear them. Keisha wiped the stain with trembling fingers, but her eyes stayed calm. She had walked miles to this interview, shoes scuffed, resume folded inside her purse, hope stitched between every breath. The mansion gates opened with a mechanical hum, revealing the world of Ethan Carter. Billionaire, widower, untouchable. Inside, polished marble floors reflected her brown face back at her like an unwanted guest. A housekeeper gave her a quick look, whispering something under her breath before leading her to a glass office. Ethan Carter sat behind the desk, gray suit, sharp jawline, eyes tired but unreadable. "Keisha Williams?" he asked. "Yes, sir." Her voice was steady, even though her palms were damp. He glanced at the resume. "You've worked in childcare for 8 years?" 10, if you count the years I took care of my younger siblings," she said with a small smile. "I've handled everything from fevers to broken hearts." He didn't return it. "You understand this job isn't simple. My son has scared off 6 nannies in a year." "I read that in your posting," she replied. "I'm not scared of children, Mr. Carter. I'm scared of giving up on them." He looked up from the paper. First real eye contact. Something in her tone stopped him just for a second. "Why this job?" he asked. "My father had a stroke last year. The bills keep coming. I need the work. And the humiliation outside," he added, tone half apology, half test. "That neighbor is complicated." Keisha lifted her chin. "So is life for people who look like me. But I don't run." Silence stretched and a sigh. "1-week trial," he said, sliding a contract forward. "Room and meals included. Survive the week and we'll talk." "I'll last," she replied quietly, signing her name. As she stepped out of the office, the same housekeeper whispered again, "Don't unpack too much, honey. He never keeps your kind long." Keisha stopped, turned slightly, and said, "Then maybe I'm the kind he's never met before." She walked up the grand staircase toward her small room, unaware that behind the office glass, Ethan was still watching her, the woman who didn't flinch when the world threw tomatoes. The morning sun poured through the mansion windows like soft gold. Keisha stood in the kitchen, hair tied back, preparing breakfast, eggs, toast, and a smile she had to force. Jenny, the housekeeper, handed her a plate and whispered, "Brace yourself, honey. The kid's a tornado." A moment later, the sound of small footsteps thundered down the stairs. Liam Carter, 6 years old, blonde hair messy, green eyes full of mischief, stomped into the room wearing a superhero cape and 1 sneaker. He froze when he saw her. "You're not Miss Hannah." "No, I'm Keisha," she said softly, "and I make better pancakes." He frowned. "Miss Hannah quit." "I heard," she replied, sliding a pancake onto his plate. "I don't quit easy." He crossed his arms. "You will?" Keisha smiled faintly. "Guess we'll see." When she turned to pour syrup, the plate vanished. A crash followed. Syrup dripped down the cabinet doors, Liam smirking in victory. Jenny gasped, "Lord help us." But Keisha just took a deep breath. "You missed a spot," she said calmly, handing him a towel. Liam blinked, confused. "You're not mad." "Why?" "You're the one sticky now." For the first time, he laughed, a real surprise laugh. Later that day, she found his favorite toy truck hidden behind the couch. She placed it on his pillow without a word. That night, he left a note under her door in shaky handwriting. "Thanks. Sorry about the syrup." The next morning, she knocked on his door. "Truce?" she asked. Liam hesitated, then nodded. "Okay, but only if you make dinosaur pancakes." "Deal," she said. By the end of the week, she'd earned more than truce. She'd earned trust. She read him stories till he fell asleep, fixed a scrape on his knee, and taught him how to tie his laces. Every night, she sat in the dim hallway, listening as his laughter filled the once silent mansion. From a study upstairs, Ethan Carter noticed. He watched through the open door as his son giggled in the living room for the first time in years. He didn't understand what changed, only that the woman they called temporary had made the house breathe again. And when Keisha caught him looking, she simply nodded once and said, "Kids heal faster when adults stop pretending nothing's broken." Ethan had no answer. But that night, he stayed downstairs longer than usual, listening to the sound of his son's laughter echoing against the marble walls. Rain drizzled softly outside the tall windows, tapping against the glass like a slow rhythm. Keisha stood at the counter whisking pancake batter again, this time with a helper standing on a stool beside her. Liam wore an apron 3 sizes too big, his hair sticking up in every direction. He pointed to the pan. "It's burning." "It's called caramelized," she said with a grin. "Gives it flavor. Smells like smoke." "Then congratulations," she said, sliding the pancake onto his plate. "You just invented breakfast barbecue." From the hallway, Ethan Carter paused, watching the scene in quiet disbelief. His son, the boy who once screamed at every nanny, was laughing sticky alive. For a long moment, Ethan said nothing. He only watched. When Keisha finally turned and saw him, she didn't look nervous or small the way most employees did. She just smiled. "You hungry, Mr. Carter?" He hesitated, then nodded. "I don't usually eat breakfast." "Then maybe that's a problem," she replied, pouring him coffee. He sat at the counter, suit crisp, tie loosened. Liam whispered loudly, "She made me eat the dinosaur head first so it doesn't come alive at night." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "That sounds very scientific." "Totally real science," Keisha said, hiding a smile. For the first time, Ethan laughed. A small, genuine sound he hadn't heard from himself in years. After Liam left for school, silence settled. Ethan lingered by the kitchen doorway, watching Keisha wash the dishes. "You really don't stop, do you?" he asked. "Not until the world's clean," she said. "Even when people make it messy?" She met his gaze, especially then. He studied her, almost curious. "Where did you learn to handle people like that?" "Growing up in Georgia," she said, drying her hands. "If you cried every time someone talked down to you, you'd never stand back up." He nodded slowly. "My wife used to say that. At least she was softer than me, but stronger too." Keisha's voice lowered. "The cherry blossom tree outside, she planted it, didn't she?" Ethan looked out the window toward the soft pink petals swaying in the rain. "Yeah, I haven't sat under it since the funeral." "Maybe you should," Keisha said gently. "Grief doesn't go away when you ignore it. It just gets comfortable." Something in his face shifted, the armor cracking just a little. "Miss Williams," he said quietly, "you have a way of saying things people don't forget." "I say what I want to hear if I were breaking." That night, as the rain eased and the cherry blossoms shimmered under the streetlight, Ethan stood beneath it for the first time in years. Inside the house, Keisha turned off the kitchen lights, unaware that the man upstairs was finally learning how to breathe again. If this happened right in front of you, what would you do? Tell me in the comments. I read every one. And if you want justice as much as I do, hit subscribe. Friday morning came bright and cool, family day at Liam's school. Keisha buttoned his shirt and fixed his collar as he bounced with excitement. "Dad's coming, right?" he asked. She hesitated, forcing a smile. "He's busy, baby, but he'll be proud when he hears how fast you run." He nodded, though his shoulders slumped. At the schoolyard, laughter and chatter filled the air. Parents mingled under tents while kids ran with painted faces. Keisha stood near the start line, holding Liam's backpack, surrounded by smiles that didn't quite reach the eyes. A woman in designer sunglasses turned toward her. "You with the catering team?" Keisha blinked. "No, ma'am. I'm here with Liam Carter." The woman's brow furrowed. "You mean Mr. Carter's boy?" Before Keisha could answer, the woman chuckled. "Ah, right, the nanny. I should have known." The words cut sharper than intended laughter. Liam overheard, his face falling. Keisha bent down, whispering, "Ignore her. You just run your race." But before the whistle blew, Ethan appeared. suit jacket off, sleeves rolled up, breathing hard like he'd run the whole way. Liam's face lit up. "Dad." Ethan smiled. Wouldn't miss it. The race began, little legs flying, laughter echoing. Keisha clapped from the sidelines, pride glowing in her eyes. When Liam won, Ethan lifted him high, spinning him in the air. The crowd clapped, except the woman in sunglasses. As they left the field, she whispered to another parent, loud enough to be heard, "Must be nice, the nanny getting all that attention." Keisha froze, the sting instant. This time, Ethan heard it too, but he said nothing. That evening, the silence in the mansion was heavier than marble. Keisha set down dinner quietly. "You heard her," she said softly. Ethan looked up from his plate. "I did. And you said nothing." He rubbed his temple. "It wasn't the time or place." "It's never the time or place, is it?" she said. "Not when it's happening to someone like me." He stood slowly. "You think I don't care?" "I think caring and doing are two different things." The words hung between them. Finally, she whispered, "Your son saw it. He saw her insult me, and he saw you let it happen." Then she walked away, voice steady but eyes shining. "You teach him what silence looks like, Mr. Carter." The next morning, Ethan arrived at the school unannounced. The same woman stood by the gate, smile sharp as glass. He walked right up to her. "Yesterday, you insulted my son's nanny, the woman who's done more for him in 3 weeks than anyone since his mother died." She blinked, color draining. He continued, "If your children ever have half her strength, consider yourself lucky." He turned and left, leaving whispers behind him. Back at the mansion, Keisha was in the garden, trimming the cherry blossom tree. He stopped beside her. "I spoke to her." "I heard," she said softly. "Thank you." He nodded, the weight in his voice genuine. "I should have done it sooner." The wind rustled the blossoms, scattering petals across her hair. For the first time, he saw her not as help, but as a woman standing in the light, unshaken by a world that tried to break her. And somewhere deep inside him, something cracked, pride, guilt, and the first hint of change. 3 quiet days passed. The house felt calm again, laughter at breakfast, cartoons echoing down the hall. But beneath that peace, something darker began to stir. Keisha was folding laundry when Jenny rushed in, voice low. "Sweetheart, someone called here asking questions about you." Wouldn't leave a name. Keisha froze. "What kind of questions?" "Where you worked before, who you lived with." Sounded professional, like a reporter or a private eye. Keisha's chest tightened. She forced a small laugh, probably some background check mistake. But that night, she couldn't sleep. Downstairs, Ethan was still in his study when she appeared at the door, eyes restless. "I need to ask something," she said. He looked up immediately. "Go ahead." "Did your company send anyone to check on me?" He frowned. "Of course not." "Why?" She told him about the call. His expression hardened. "No one gets to dig into your past. I'll have my team look into it." "You don't have to." "Yes," he interrupted. "I do. You take care of my son. It's my turn to take care of you." Keisha swallowed the lump in her throat. "I can handle myself." He studied her, voice quiet. That's what strong people always say, until someone reminds them they shouldn't have to. The next morning, a car idled near the front gate. Black windows, tinted, waiting too long. Security chased it off, but the feeling lingered. At lunch, Keisha found an envelope slipped under her door. Inside, a photocopy of her father's hospital bill, unpaid. No note, no name, just proof that someone had been digging. Tears burned her eyes. She went straight to Ethan. "This isn't random," she said, dropping the paper on his desk. He read it once, jaw tightening. "My father had a stroke 2 years ago," she whispered. "I've been paying what I can, but now someone's using it to scare me." Ethan stood slowly. "I know exactly who'd do something like this." "Who?" "Brad Kingsley," he said bitterly. "A former partner. He's been trying to buy back part of my company. The same man who called you help at that fundraiser." So he's coming after me to get to you. Ethan nodded grimly, but he just made the biggest mistake of his career. He picked up his phone, voice steal. I'm calling my lawyers. We end this before it spreads. Keisha touched his arm gently. You don't have to fight my battles, Ethan. He looked at her, really looked. Maybe not, but I'm not letting you fight alone. For the first time, she didn't argue, because deep down, she knew this wasn't just about her anymore. It was about every moment she'd stayed silent, every insult she'd swallowed, and about the man standing beside her, finally unlearning what silence costs. The next 48 hours moved like a storm. Calls, statements, legal drafts. Ethan's mansion became a war room. Reporters circled the gates, while rumors spread online about a billionaire caught in a racism scandal. But instead of hiding, Ethan did the unthinkable. He called a press conference himself. Keisha watched from the doorway as he adjusted his tie before stepping into the living room. You sure about this? She asked quietly. He nodded. I used to build walls. Now it's time to tear one down. Her eyes softened. Then tell the truth. All of it. The next morning, cameras lined the courtyard. A sea of microphones waited as Ethan Carter walked the podium, the world watching. He glanced once toward Keisha, standing near the back, hands folded, steady. Then he began. For years, I let power blind me, he said. I let privilege speak louder than conscience. But a few weeks ago, someone walked into my house and reminded me what humanity sounds like. The reporters leaned forward. She's a black woman named Keisha Williams, Ethan continued. My son's nanny, and the only person who ever told me the truth to my face. When others whispered, she spoke. When others stayed silent, she stood tall. If my company or I ever allowed racism to go unchallenged, that ends today. Flashbulbs exploded. Keisha felt her pulse in her throat, disbelief mixing with pride. Ethan went on. We're opening a full investigation into Carter Global's contracts. We're funding a scholarship for minority caregivers and launching a foundation in memory of my wife. Because justice isn't charity, it's correction. Questions flew from every direction. Mr. Carter, are you admitting guilt? He paused, then met the cameras squarely. I'm admitting change. And that's rarer. Hours later, social media was on fire. Trended across the U.S. clips of his speech flooded feeds. And for the first time, the comments weren't about his fortune, but his courage. Back at the mansion, Keisha sat with Liam in the living room. He watched the replay on TV and turned to her. That's Daddy. It is, she said softly. He's doing the right thing. Because you told him to? She smiled. No, baby, because he finally listened. Ethan entered quietly, tie undone, exhaustion heavy but proud. Looks like the internet forgave me for once, he said. You didn't ask for forgiveness, Keisha replied. You earned respect. He smiled faintly, walking closer. Then I guess I owe that to you. She shook her head. You don't owe me anything, Ethan. You owed it to yourself. Outside, the cherry blossom trees swayed in the evening light, pink petals falling like applause from the sky. And for the first time, Ethan Carter didn't feel powerful. He felt human. A week later, calm returned to the Carter estate. The chaos, the headlines, the noise, all of it had faded like rain dry on stone. But the peace that remained was different, softer, alive. Morning sunlight spilled through the windows, warming the marble floors. Liam's laughter echoed from the garden as he chased bubbles across the grass. Keisha watched on the porch, arms folded, a quiet smile touching her face. She turned when she heard footsteps behind her. Ethan stood there, holding 2 mugs of coffee. I still can't make it as good as you, he said. You're improving, she teased. You only burned the beans once this week. He chuckled, setting 1 cup beside her. I saw the morning news. People are calling me a hero. You're not, she said gently. You're just a man who finally stopped pretending he didn't see color. He nodded, eyes thoughtful. It's strange. For years, I thought success meant control. Now I know it means letting the right people in. Liam ran up, holding a handful of petals. Look, the cherry tree's snowing. Keisha laughed. That's how it says good morning. Ethan bent down beside his son. Your mom planted that tree, but I think it finally bloomed for the right reason. Liam looked up, confused. What reason? Ethan smiled. Because we stopped being afraid to grow. Later that evening, the three of them sat on the back steps, watching the sky melt into shades of orange and blue. Liam leaned against Keisha's arm, already half asleep. Ethan looked over. You ever think about leaving when this job ends? She hesitated. Maybe. I never planned on staying this long. He nodded slowly. But I'd like it if you did. She met his eyes, steady, warm, unspoken understanding passing between them. Not as an employee, he added quietly. As part of whatever this is. Keisha smiled faintly. One day at a time, Mr. Carter. Ethan, he corrected softly. Okay, she said. One day at a time, Ethan. The wind stirred the blossoms again, scattering petals that glowed under the porch light. And for the first time in a long time, the house didn't feel haunted by what was lost. It felt blessed by what was found. If you believe this should never happen again, share this now. And to my USA, UK, and Canadian viewers, your voice is power. Use it.